We are now in the third and last chapter of our module, Strategy and Sustainability. As mentioned in the introduction of the module, this chapter aims at linking the concept of strategy and strategic management to the new notion of sustainable development, sustainability, and corporate strategy. So, first of all, what about the worldwide context? Because it explains a lot of things. You should know that companies, organizations, human beings are acting, living, and operating in a very changing environment. So our worldwide context is characterized by several megatrends which will really shape the future of our planet, the future of business, but which can also be viewed as opportunities for doing new business, for changing our mindsets, and so on. These megatrends are, for example, urbanization. We are living in a world where more and more individuals live in cities, in metropolis. Okay, more and more people live in urban area, and this will be more and more the case in the next decades. Demographic change. As you know, we are confronted to huge challenges regarding the total number of human beings on our planet, and how can we stay sustainable with billions and billions of individuals on our planet. Climate change is also a huge trend and huge challenge in today's world. Okay, we know that there are huge climate change in all over the world. And finally, globalization, the multipolar world, is also something very significant in current worldwide context. Finally, new technology, internet, social networks, and so on are also revolutions which shape the future of our planet and of businesses. So, if I want to summarize this context, we are confronted to huge global societal challenges, such as demographic challenges, I have mentioned this already, health challenges, for example, obesity in specific parts of the world, the HIV sickness, food challenges in other parts of the world, poverty challenges, climate challenges, okay, greenhouse effect, global warming, energy challenges, okay, how can we provide energy to billions and billions of people all over the world, and how can we make sure that this energy need, this food need won't have too big impacts on our ecological environment and on our climate. These global societal challenges have been magnified by international scandals, okay, big companies which were mediatized because of huge scandals. We think about Enron, but also about big problems with Nike and potential child labor in some country, the BP oil spill. These were big scandals which were highly mediatized. These global societal challenges are also magnified by the financial and the global economic crisis we have just been living. Okay, so this has also revealed some of the problem of our current system. And the increasing importance of the ICT, so information and communication technology, internet, social media, of course, also magnified all these huge global societal challenges. And thus, in this context, the notion of sustainable development is now really important, because if we want to favor a sustainable development of our society, our world, we need to consider three complementary and independent pillars. Of course, economic dimension is very important. We need to create wealth for all thanks to a sustainable production, consumption, thanks to a sustainable and sound economy. But we also need to consider a bit more the environmental dimension. How can we, in this economy, preserve and manage our natural resources better? Okay? And finally, what about the social dimension? What about equity? What about well-being of all social groups in our society? And of course, we need, if we want to create a sustainable economy in the long term, and if businesses want to survive, they need to consider all these three aspects. The sustainable development of the world. So, economic aspect, to make money, but in considering a bit differently the environment and social aspects. So, this context and this information show that the worldwide context is really changing. It's very different from the worldwide context we were living decades ago. And so there are new imperatives. Okay? Firms need to consider sustainable development in their strategic thinking. They need also to consider technological innovation, hyper competition, and so on. So there are new imperatives, but considering in addition to economic, social, and environmental aspects is today a need if you want to be part of a big scandal, if you want to have bad promotion, if you want to lose your reputation. New expectation, employee, customer are expecting sustainable products. They want company to behave in a more sustainable manner because they are aware of all these global societal challenges, but also new possibilities. Okay, so this new context can help you to see your business and to rethink the way you do your business to be more sustainable and to make money, but in another way. And so in this context, this is the summary on this part dedicated to context. Businessmen, strategists, you as future businessmen have to consider this context, this worldwide contextual environment, and propose new business strategies, new ways of doing business, which will be aligned with this context, with these new imperatives, with these challenges, and with the context in which we are living. So what is corporate social responsibility? Because we hear about this term commonly. Corporate social responsibility is about not only about corporation, it could be also about a small company, and it's not only about the social aspect, but rather about the societal aspect. Corporate social responsibility is the contribution of firms, of individual firms, to the global objective of sustainable development. So it is how firms integrate the principles of sustainable development in their business operation. Okay? It's about being a sustainable and more responsible business which make money in considering better the environment and social aspects. And so in the context in which we are now living, it's very important to insist on the fact that you should know that more and more firms develop now strategies related to sustainable development. And here are some facts, some observations which show the increasing importance of this notion in business strategies. First observation, which was made by Kell and Lacey in 2010, CEOs increasingly view managing sustainability as critical to their company's success. So in 2010, we observed that CEOs view sustainability more and more as critical for their business success. Second observation, also made in 2010, 80% of Fortune Global 2050 companies now disclose their sustainability performance. So 80% of this company know it's important to be more and more sustainable. And another observation which was made a bit earlier, but which was kind of visionary observation by Art, over the next decade or so we are a bit more than a decade after this statement, sustainable development will constitute one of the biggest opportunity in the history of commerce. So in the context in which we are living, considering all these global challenges, we are convinced that sustainable development should be integrated in the strategic thinking of all companies. But what is a sustainable strategy? Indeed, there is no generally accepted definition. There are many terms which are sometimes synonymous, sometimes not. Okay, so be careful in listening and reading information about strategies for sustainable development, because there are many terms and some are synonymous, some are not. So this can be strategy for sustainable development, sustainable strategy, sustainability strategy, corporate and social responsibility, responsible strategy, societal strategy, social strategy, environmental strategy. So there is an increasing number of terms referring to strategy in relationship with the notion of sustainable development. But what is really a strategy for sustainable development? A real sustainable strategy, a real strategy contributing to the sustainable development of the company and of the society is a corporate or a business strategy which creates, develops and maintains sustainable business value in a long-term vision, as all strategic thinking, in considering and ideally integrating social, environmental and economic dimension. So this definition of a strategy for sustainable development is different from some common usage of CSR strategy that we will and that you will observe in doing some search on the internet. Because some common usage of CSR strategy are about the pure philanthropic activities of the company. So they are not related to core business. That's not about a real sustainable strategy. A real sustainable strategy integrating the core business of the company, environmental, social and economic aspects. It's not about green or social washing. It's not about pure marketing activities to improve the image of the company. It's really about rethinking the way you do your business to integrate these three pillars. And of course, there is a strong relationship between sustainable strategy and innovation and creativity, because it's really about being able to think in a very innovative way in how you can do a business in the long term, in being very sustainable, or you can produce new services, or you can provide new services, how you can create new products which are really sustainable. What about your processes? What about your customers? And so on. So, and why is it so important to elaborate a sustainable strategy? So, you can mention different potential reasons to do what others do. So we know that in the current context, we have to do what others do. To save the planet, so is it a good reason? Do you do business to save the planet? To feel less guilty, because you know that you destroy sometimes a bit our environment? To do something good? To improve your company reputation, this can be also a reason. But there are many, many potential motivations which are better than this. This can be a market motivation, because customers are more and more expecting for companies to be sustainable, for companies to be able to make money in another way, in protecting the environment or in not destroying the environment, and in being socially responsible. For competitive reasons, you should know that more and more companies enter in this kind of strategies. So this can be important. For legal reasons, what about laws regarding the environmental protection, about social well-being? And marketing reason, of course, can be mentioned. It can help you to improve your image if you really do something good for the society. And real value from the entrepreneur, from the businessman, can also be one of the motivations for entering in such a strategy.